Yes.
As in the initials of the degree.
Yes. Yes. Okay, who's BBA? BBA. Okay, who's BM? BM. Any BAs in here? Okay. So what we'll do,
There are a lot of you not here, though. Where is everybody?
we're missing, there's supposed to be 40 people in this class. Listen, next time we'll sit over here, okay? So we don't have to try to deal. If you don't mind, that'd be great. And just have a seat here. This will be great. So, you know, a capstone course is supposed to cap the whole curriculum. So you can remember how far back you go, right? When you go back to intro, we all went through, we were there together, right? And we went legal issues, you went through all your marketing classes, all that stuff. And so this class is supposed to cap that off. And so a lot of you were in entrepreneurship. Who was in entrepreneurship last semester? So half the class is kind of already engaged in their projects. The rest of you need to find a project. So the deliverable in this class is going to be a project. And we prefer that you do something that is directly related to your future, right? So the problem with this class is that there are 4 degrees in it, 3 degrees in this particular room right now, but there are some BA students registered. It's hard to cap 4 different degrees in one class, right? So we'll do our best. But every week we have something kind of different scheduled, and then for the second half of the class, we'll work on our projects. And tonight we're going to do 2 things. First of all, the syllabus is on Laura. The syllabus is not a big deal. You can check it yourself. You don't need me to go over it with you. It's, you know, there's nothing, it's just boilerplate stuff. What I would hope that you would learn from the class and what I would hope would be the outcomes of the class, right? So it's on Laura. And there are other documents on Laura as well. So you can check it. That's where we'll put stuff. I'm sorry, on Blackboard, on your Blackboard account. So tonight, Roberta Kaskel is head of career services at the university, and she and I and Georgia McBride and George Howard are all working on this class together, right? Because there's so many of you. And hey, so tonight we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about a career services software that that Roberta has acquired. Hey, Philip, would you sit over here? I want to try to keep everybody on this side of the room. If you don't mind, I'll make it easier. That's fine. This career services software is pretty cool. I'll let Roberta explain that to you. And then we're going to take this really cool thing called the Kolb Learning Styles Analysis. And it's just something I took, I did a executive management seminar at Emory this summer. It was really cool for a whole week. And I took this there, and it was so fascinating to me that I had to get it for you. So I bought the things. They're like SAT things, but it's really simple. It's like a 5-minute little thing you do, and I don't want you to read the pamphlet. I just want you to take the little quiz, right? And so after Roberta finishes, I'm going to show you how that works. And that's what that stuff on the board's about. But right now, let's welcome Roberta. She's going to talk to you about the career services software.
Hi, everyone. It's exciting to see so many people I already know. Georgia McBride, I think you all know Georgia, is my partner in crime on this part of the class. She is actually in New York this week, visiting employers on behalf of all of you, so she'll have a lot to report about that next week when she's back. But we are going to work with all of you on the part of this class that is aimed at helping you build your strategy for what you want to do when you leave here in May. And you are probably going to have, I'm showing 44 of you enrolled in the class. Chances are there are going to be at least 44 different plans. So that's why it's going to be two of us working with you. And we're going to work with you a lot in small groups right during class. And then obviously we're available for individual appointments, small group work if you guys rather do some things in small groups. We're piloting, for example, in the College of Social Science with one of the senior capstones there, a job search club. That might be something that might interest you folks as well. But tonight what we're going to talk about a lot is a tool called Career Leader. If you could just get Career Leader is an online assessment tool that was developed at the Harvard Business School for people who are interested in trying to determine exactly where their niche would be in the world of business. So it's a vocational assessment tool. Some of you, how many of you ever did something like the strong interest inventory, either with us or perhaps even when you were in high school, or self-directed search? And you know, it sort of gave you this real bird's eye view of all the different kinds of occupations in the world and where you might fit in those occupations. And you know, it either, you know, people used it sort of to have you figure out if you wanted to go into medicine or, you know, art or something like this. Career Leader is a vocational assessment tool along those lines, but it looks specifically at your fit to business functions. It isn't necessarily going to tell you industries. So, you know, law in comparison to music education. But what are the business functions within any industry? What are the creative production fields? What are the marketing fields? What might be the finance and control fields? What might be the kinds of legal work you would do in an industry? Very traditional business functions, and has you answer a lot of questions about your interests in life, your values, particularly grounded in the present. What is it you want to get from work right now? And how you like to build teams and relate to others. And where you've gotten you access to this tool, it is a private tool, it is a fee-based tool, and John has arranged for you all to have access to the tool. I have built accounts for all of you, and the instruction sheet about how to log in is coming around. What we'd like you to do is go in and take the instrument before next week's class. Let me give you some hints. It's going to give you a 10-page profile. If you want to get something out of this, don't do it the day of class. It's the kind of thing, it's not going to take you long to do it. You're probably going to get it done in about 30 minutes. But it's the kind of thing you want to take that profile, and you want to be able to read it, and you might want to put it down for a few days and then go back and read it. And what we're going to do in class, we're going to break up into small groups throughout class all of next week, and we'll be working with some of you on Career Leader while John's doing some other things with some of you, and then we'll switch around. We'll go through the profile. We'll show you how to read the profile. You guys, it's going to be pretty self-explanatory. But we also then are going to match it up to how you set your goals for what you want to do after graduation, and more important, because chances are you guys already have those goals set. You might just want to put some different language to how you name them. What are the strategies? So we're going to match some of those results up also to effective job search strategies, effective grant writing strategies. Some of you might be writing business plans. You know, I think those of you who just took arts administration with merit probably did some of that. Did you have to write a grant in that class? Yeah. That's no different than writing a business plan. Just has different titles to the sections. So that will be next week's class, and then you'll have access to this tool all the way through to the end of June of this year. So you can go back and forth, and the profile's yours, it's private. We will then also we'll be doing resume writing, and we'll be doing interviewing. We've got some other guest speakers who are coming in. But the Career Leader piece, we're really excited about this. I think it's a good fit for all of you, because I think you'll find that when you take it, it will give you a chance to talk about some of the creative endeavors you might want to be pursuing. So, you know, just the fact that I came from Harvard Business, and you say, well, you know, we're not really pure business students, I think you'll find it's going to be a good fit. So, make sense, the Career Leader? I will tell you, there's a note on that. If you're starting to share with folks, it does display differently if you're in a Mac than if you're on a PC. So some of you Mac users, I think your report comes out in 8 pages instead of 10. Again, the instructions how to log in. If you have difficulty logging in and you hit that help button, it will go to the tech people up at Harvard and me at the same time. So somebody should be answering you, depending on time of day. It's only within that business day, no later than the next morning.
So Roberta, you're gonna, maybe I missed what you just said, but you're gonna do an analysis of their results next week, right?
Yes, that will be, the
And
19th.
what do you hope will come from it for them?
I think what will come from it might broaden for you your understanding of all the different ways you can take the particular set of skills you want to take out into the business world after getting into different functions or different types of businesses, different roles within a business. Some of you are hoping to leave the country, right? So it will give you some of that language you need. It will automatically, if some of the things that come up as really good fits for you, say, it comes up that you really have some very innate talents and interests in working in the aspect of control in a business. Even though the business may be one that is entertainment oriented for you guys, what does it mean then to be in, working for a large venue? What does it mean at a large venue to be the business officer who's in control of product controls and supply control? That's bottom line stuff every day. What are you pricing a good for? How much do you need in storage? How much do you need in pipeline all the time? So it'll just give you some of that language you need to go out. It will then, I think, also help you, for those of you who are planning on trying to go out and write your own business plans and open your own businesses. I think it will give you some really interesting insights into the types of skills that might not be in your own personal profile and what you might need from others to be successful.
Okay.
Talks a lot about entrepreneurial spirit.
I think there may be a certain cynicism in this room, so I just want to make sure that what they're going to do has direct application to what they're going to be needing going forward. So you feel confident that this survey is going to give them insight into their skills and their talents and their abilities in a way that will be unique.
I absolutely feel confident about that. At the end of the day, though, so if this is pushback, I'm sorry about that. You know yourself best. You're going to have to be able to tell us whether or not, for some reason, the results are not resonating with you. And we'll explore that individually with you. And there could be some really valid reasons. You could have been distracted when you've taken it. Something major could be happening, for you right now in terms of some other decision making. Maybe others are weighing in on your decisions and you're not at a point where you can do them solely on your own right now. But it is a very proven instrument. Now that said, I need help from all of you because this is the first class I will be using it with that are a class of students not coming strictly out of a traditional business program. I would be surprised, I could be wrong, but I'd be real surprised if any of you scored real high on accounting. I could be wrong.
We got some business kids in here now.
But you might be very interested in marketing and finance and those kinds of decisions that relate to running a record label, a venue, managing a band, starting your own gallery. What it will do is it will put language around your interests, they call them deep and abiding interests, your current values, and what you want to accomplish in the short run. Make sense?
Now they know how to log in. You don't want to show them anything.
That's the sheet. Well, if you want to show them on your account, you're welcome to. You're welcome to demonstrate.
Do I have to do this too?
I built you an account. Don't you think you should?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll do this too. Maybe I'll get a job, huh?
Are these extras? So because all of your accounts are private and I built them, this is our, do you mind guys? There is a sheet up here. Do me a favor before you leave the room tonight. If you are not on the sheet, because I just sort of put the class roster together by going in a Blackboard
Let
and
me
all
just
that kind of
call the
stuff.
roll.
If you're not on here, make sure I get your name and email. You're going to call roll?
I wanted to see if everybody who's here anyway, because there's
Okay.
obviously a lot of people not here. So Philip's here, Philip Arpa, Samia's here, right? Yeah. Sean Barrows, yeah. Jared, are you here? You're there. Sean, Stephen Cunningham. Blake Durham, oh, in the back there. Dylan Edwards, no Dylan here. Maddie's here. Patrick, are you here? Galesh, no here. Jeffrey Gober, yeah, you're here. Sergio is here. Lynn Aubrey Lynn, yeah. Matthew McGovern, oh, there you're shaved. Miranda, yeah. Devin, Brooke Neal is here. Lisa, yeah. Mario, I saw you back there. Braden's here. Alexia, where are you? No, Alexia. Patrick Regan's here. Christian Rohde's here. Okay. Henry Salas is not here. Toya's here. Ashley's here. I don't see Alex Tellers, right? Alex? No. Edward Voorhees is here. Yeah. And Sarah Wild is not here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't see Sarah.
Now
Is
there's-
somebody here who he didn't call up?
I got more. Michael.
Yeah.
No, I
See,
got it here. I got it here. I'm
Oh.
not done. Michael Anton. Michael's not here. Matthew. Matt's here. John Braun. Yeah. David Buttrey's here. Matt. Matt's not here. Romer. Yeah. Aiden. Yeah. Curtis. Yeah. Jason Price. No. And Ross is here. Anybody I didn't call? How come you're not in the class? Did you register? Okay.
I'm sorry, what's your name? I bet I had. What's your name?
Amina McLean.
I have her.
Or maybe I overlooked her.
Anyone not get?
She's not on my list. What list did you get?
I told you, I'm magic. I pulled it together. I went into your files and cut and paste.
Well, we'll get her in there. So, anybody else?
That's my list.
Are you good? Everybody's name is on there?
Well, I have a lot more people, but there are clearly not 48 people here tonight. So as long as there isn't someone here tonight who wasn't called, I'm okay, because that means you all had your accounts built.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, because I don't have access to anything else, it's your Loyola emails in the accounts.
You good?
Cool.
All right. So I'm gonna show you this this syllabus right quick anyway, and just so you'll see it. And then we're gonna do this cold thing, and it won't take long, and then we're out of here. Great, we're out of here already.
Time to go.
That's a fire drill, folks.
It's his phone. My other professor gives 3 points on your grade if his phone goes off in class.
Where is my phone?
Somewhere over there.
Stop.
Okay. I said it that way because I never hear it. And then now it's a new setting, so I always think it's a fire drill.
You scare me. If you're driving and you hear that, I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Remind me to change that. You know,
I already know it's my phone.
you're going to have, there's going to be some resume. Everybody's got their resume together, right? I mean, anybody who's trying to get, who wants to be an independent person? Who's going to try to be an independent person? Independent persons are good. Who's trying to actually get a job? Okay, then there's two, you're actually working both ends of the street, right? I'll take it either way I can get it, right? Okay, I got it. So, there is a pretty serious severe career services here, and they have pretty serious ways of helping you with with your resumes and your letters and stuff. So that will be part of this as well. On February the 2nd, Kevin Wiles is going to come here and talk about ethics in the arts, and we'll bring over George's ethics class at the same time. And then there's different people. We have a financial advisor coming in. He's going to talk about insurance issues, tax issues, healthcare issues, things that people have to deal with when they actually get out into the world that maybe you haven't dealt with yet, but you're going to have to anyway. So he was here last year and really a good guy and very informative. So I think you'll find him helpful. This is, let's see if we can make this work. What else? There's going to be a couple of deliverables, but not any big deal other than the plan. The personal career plan is something we'll talk about next time, but it is just basically the entrepreneurship people have already kind of been through this. You know, we kind of know, you've already told us what it is that you're trying to do, right? You're already working on it. Anybody changing their plans? Are you going to change anything? You going to change? No more skydiving? And what?
I was hoping that I could get back if y'all still had the things that we gave, because I mean, I could use some feedback.
Well, you know, I wrote a lot on those papers, and I sent them to Howard in Martha's Vineyard, he supposedly sent them back. But if he didn't, then he's here now, and they're not. But I don't know where they are.
Okay.
We'll get them though, because it's important that you have those back.
Right.
You really need the feedback,
I know.
right?
I'm feel so lost.
So if for some reason he left those papers in Martha's Vineyard,
I'll fly
then
back and get it. We'll all have to go.
we can all go get the paper. Well, and the alternative, you could just bring me your paper and I could go through it with you, and I could tell you what I thought, because I spent a lot of time with each one of them, because you spent a lot of time on it, and I want to spend a lot of time on it, because I really want you to make something and do something you can be proud of. So when you graduate, you can say, this is what I do, right? And so that's the deal. So we're going to be formulating those plans. So the BM kids, the BBA kids who weren't in that, I guess some BBAs were in that class, but if you weren't in that class, then you're going to have to catch up a little bit. Obviously, we can't expect you to know what he taught, but we can show you the idea of how the project should work. So be thinking about what you want to do. You know, produce a record. We have money. We have a lot of things that need to be produced through the center. So if you want to produce something, an event, you know, you want to bring in some famous people, or you want to do a TV show, or whatever it is, we're good, right? So we can definitely do a weekly TV show on entrepreneurship or something else that you might think is cool. You can invite anybody you want to. So if I can invite Bruce Springsteen, so can you. So invite somebody, you know, and we can pay him to bring him in here, put him in this class. Who's going to help you? Yeah.
When is Springsteen coming?
I don't think he's actually going to come, but March the 10th is the date that I asked him for, because that's the opening of the Walter Percy Center. And like I said in forum, I don't know if you were there, but he loves Walter Percy. And he also is a pretty serious Catholic, and he's a pretty serious literate person. Yeah.
I mean, it's not as good as Bruce Springsteen, but I can probably get Steven Van Zandt who's in Japan.
I think that's good too, because I wrote John Landau a letter about it, because I've met him before and he's a friend of a friend's, and then I went to Avatar and saw that he was a co-producer of Avatar, and I said, holy crap, holy crap. I mean, that's the biggest movie in the world, and he's the co-producer of it. So I'm not sure how my letter's going to get through or not, but I did send it. You know, what the heck, and I made a good argument, and so we'll see what happens. And so if you have somebody you want to bring them in, let's do it. And it should be something that, like, if you're going to want to go to law school, if you want to go to work for a management company, let's bring in some management companies, all right?
Can we bring in Mike Samuels again?
Yeah, man. He was good. So you mean invite Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do we have to do some kind of little seminar or a forum with a group of people, or just him, or do you want to do a thing on publishing?
Come into the class. I don't know, because I'm trying to either do band management and publishing. I'm acting as manager and publisher right now, and I want to do more publishing. And Mike Samuels is the CFO of Universal Music Publishing. I met him once before when he was here not that long ago, when he was son or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
How many? He was in this room for the intro class, and all that stuff is on that new center site, which is not quite ready yet, but it's true. It will be this week, and then you can see all that video from in this room and also at Forum. And then I interviewed him in the TV studio for about an hour, just asking him stuff. I had some great stuff about what he expects, how he interviews people, how he handles somebody who comes to him for a job. I forgot about that, but that was really good stuff. Huh?
So that'd be nice to know.
Yeah, that'll be, we'll play that.
We also have the folks from Nashville who we just met a couple of weeks ago. We've got 5 who are willing to come
What?
from the different music labels in Nashville.
Really? You mean
Yeah.
all together, or is just individuals? They said they would come.
Well, we're going to try to get as many as possible on the same date.
That's cool. All right. We could also bring in producers or engineers, or A&R people. I got some really top A&R friends. In fact, a couple of them were here a couple of years ago. Y'all remember Steve Ralbowski and were you at those forums? This was, no, I guess you probably might have been freshmen or something. But anyway, Steve is really a top-notch A&R guy. Has been in the A&R business discovering acts for about 25 years, which is really, really hard to do. You got to know your stuff. If you can win every year, you're winning. Year after year, you win. He signed Linda Ronstadt. He signed tons of people. Aaron Neville.
Are those people like still signing
Oh, yeah.
artists?
Oh, yeah.
And trying to.
Yeah. Steve is one of the top A&R guys at Sony, which puts him in the evil empire. But
Yeah.
you know, but he also is a pretty savvy guy, you know. So he could help you with stuff, how they think of it, how you could think of it if you don't already know. So there's Steve. Who else? What other category would you?
Yeah.
Hey, I got a guy. You know who would be good? There are two film producers that actually they're both the fathers of the same dude. You know Cooper Mount? Cooper's biological father is Tom Mount. He's the president of Relevant Pictures. They do about 5 movies a year that are in the $15, $20 million range. He's the guy that did Car Wash back in the 70s or something. Remember that movie? The disco stuff. And so
John,
that
you're
was a
dating
huge
yourself.
that was a huge hit. You know, that was a unique movie for its time, and that was a huge hit. And he was 26 years old when he made that movie. And as a result of the fact that that movie was such a big hit, they made him president of Universal Pictures when he was 27 years old. 27, and he was the president of Universal Pictures. So now he's 57, and he's just a great guy. And so he would definitely come. And he knows and he loves music and movies. He almost builds the movies around the music almost. If you remember Car Wash, but all these other movies the same way. Field of Dreams. But also then Josh Donen, who is the stepfather of Cooper, is the guy who made a couple of Batman movies. And his wife was the president of Oprah's network, Nikki Donen. So that's a pretty highly placed. That's a Hollywood family. His friends are, you know, Rod Stewart's kids. So we'll invite Tom or Josh. How about that? Is that okay?
A significant tour manager, artist manager.
Okay. Now this is something y'all are going to have to produce. So,
I got another question. I've been using the Polestar account.
yeah.
It says that there's only like 1 day left.
Holy shit. Okay. It's first of all, is the Polestar thing helpful to you? Because it cost me some money.
I use Polestar for all the time.
Okay. Renew Polestar?
Yes.
You gonna promise to use it?
I use it all the time. It expires today or tomorrow.
Polestar, it's on this this right here. Look. I've got it in somewhere it's in these resources. I forget where it is, but I saw it in this Backboard account. Here we go. There you go. User Polestar 1, Snyder 1, 1 through 10. So those should work, right? Yeah.
Somebody like Butch Vig, like a well-known engineer or mastering.
I can get, I just was up in New York and I was hanging out with, shoot, it's one of the top mastering guys. I'll think of his name. But you want a mastering or engineer guy, right? Yeah. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll make the initial, what's his name? Oh, that's easy, because I can get you the top guy. The other two guys that are really, there are 4 or 5 top mastering engineers in the world. Bernie Grunman in LA, and I worked with him in the 70s at Artist House, at A&M Records. And he was, you know, we were all the same age. We were young guys, we were 20s. And he was the hot shot guy in the studios there. And then he became huge, you know. And then Bob Ludwig. Bob Ludwig is the man, right? The man. He masters everybody's record, all the hit records. And if you might want to do a Google search for him, because there was a recent article on NPR where he was talking about the compression wars and why people can't listen to music anymore. Why you can't listen to MP3s for longer than 5 minutes without getting brain damage. And almost the same thing is true with PCM technology. But it's the compression that he's arguing about in this NPR article. So for those of you who care about recorded sound, you might want to check it out. In fact, I'll post a link. It's awfully interesting. Okay, what else? So then I'm going to formulate this list here, and I'll send out the emails, and then whoever bites, then we're going to have to hook it up, and we can hook up. Everything is media, so it's not only an audience, but it's also television. Yeah.
Can you have someone come in to talk about the Louisiana music tax credit?
I can do that. What do you want to know? Now, I know that pretty well. In fact, I filed for tax credits on the 4th floor renovation. The president gave me a $450,000 about 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? And to renovate that 4th floor and build those studios. And I needed much more than that, but, well, won't take the money. So I'm on the board, on the music commission, so that's that's a function of the state economic development, right? And they put up all the tax credits. So I know the tax credits. And so I took that $650 and applied for, I spent the money and applied for tax credits, and I got back 160 grand in tax credits that I have to negotiate, right? And I made a deal for 84.6%. I would rather have 90%, but it's a buyer's market. So I can't use the tax credits because we're a nonprofit, so I have to sell them to somebody who can use them, some high net worth individual who's got a serious tax bill. And they'll give me, and so I'm selling it to an accounting firm who can divvy up these things in little chunks to their clients so that none of their clients end up paying state tax, thanks to me. Where's my money? But anyway, so we're getting back, by the time that whole deal cycles through again, it'll be $700,000. So that's how I make money. And I'll tell you, we'll have a, and I can actually bring in one of the state guys to talk about the tax credits. Well, it's a cool thing. If you spend more than $15,000 in the aggregate recording music in Louisiana, the Department of Revenue will send you a check for 25% of that amount. So if you had a little production company, right, and you were making records for $1,500, $2,000, if you make, 10 of those, then you can file for that tax credit and get back 25% of the money. And that is not a tax credit that's negotiated. It's a check. Because the sound recording tax credit's different from the film and TV. It's a check. So that's a good deal. Before I took this job, I was making a lot of records out of New York in Lafayette. I probably spent $2 million up there over 5 years. And, I could have $500,000. It'd be my money, because why would anybody know or care? So that's a very good deal. All of a sudden I have $500,000. I wish I'd known. I wish they'd had it then. So this program still is in existence. The film and TV infrastructure tax credit of 40%. 40% they would give you back on if you built a film and television studio. That's why I did it. 40%? Well, hell, that's a serious badass piece of money. 40% is like a down payment. So that program is sunset. So it's over. My budget is still open, so I can still revolve it one more time and get another 150 out of it. So all that money is to be spent on this program. We got that $400,000 grant that I mentioned the other day from Mary Landrieu. The senators, when they start the appropriations bill, when they're preparing the appropriations bill for the Congress, for the whole federal budget, each senator and congressman gets to have their projects. They call them earmarks, and you hear some people call them pork, right? So, oink oink. I've been petitioning Mary Landrieu for the last 5 years to give us some money to start this center. Well, we got the money for the center from the state, $1 million a couple of years ago, and now we got this $400,000 to build an online program. So we'll be doing that coming up. And then there's more money on top of it. So there's a lot of money coming in. It's persistent, and you have to do the same thing. It took me 5 years to get that $400K. So there's a lot of people on this campus. Every dean on this campus submitted a proposal that the president took up there to give to Mary Landrieu. She picked ours. She didn't pick theirs. They didn't get any money. So all the deans are saying, how come he got that money, right? It's because I've been applying for it for 5 years. I went up there to see her twice, flew up to Washington and tried to politic for it. I never got to see her. I had to see her assistants, you know. But Kevin Wiles, he went up there this last time and he called me from the airport. He said, I need some talking points. So okay. So I gave him some talking points and he went up there and he sold it and came back with the money. So we got the money. The whole budget for the College of Music is only $250,000. So for us to have 400 is quite a hunk of change. Okay, so I have other initiatives I'm working on for this center thing if you want to join in that. And one of them is this thing I mentioned yesterday, the Year of the Writer. And you can see the website, yearofthewriter.com. It's just a WordPress blog that I built with my kid. And it's got a lot of documents and stuff up there. And that's what we invited Bruce to come in for. So we're going to invite other famous writers, famous publishers, famous journalists, whomever. And we've got the library, they love it. They're flipping out. The English department loves it. All the writing teachers love it. And I've got Delgado, UNO, and Dillard in it too. So not only is it cross-college, it's cross-community, right? If we want you to be entrepreneurial, we have to act entrepreneurial. And you can tell that me and Howard and Billy, and really Paul and the rest of them, are very, very entrepreneurial. But certainly the three of us, we don't have any other way of thinking. It's just natural to us. And that's what we want for you. So, and sometimes you might even, you either are or you aren't in a way. So you kind of have to, if you're not and you want to be, then you have to be more strict with yourself, right? About trying to follow some procedures and some structure. But if you are, then you're good to go. I'm in love with the idea of doing something. I think that's the mantra for Howard's classes this semester. I know it's the mantra for Billy's, and it's always been mine. So let's do something. Let's make something happen. 3 years ago for senior seminar, when we first got that grant, we did a management seminar, a hip-hop seminar. If you were informed, you saw it. And we did a music education all-day thing. We had people coming in from the New York Philharmonic, from the Philadelphia Orchestra, from NYU, and they did these all-day clinics on music education. And we had the guy from the state come in and talk about Act 175, which mandates arts education in this state for next year. But the thing of it is, they passed this mandate, but they didn't fund it, which is a typical legislative trick, right? It's trying to have your cake and eat it too. But in this case, we're not going to get arts education in the public schools unless we do something. And it's called political action. That mayoral debate last night, I wish I'd have been there and yelled at those guys, because they need to crank it up. And there's going to be one tomorrow night or some other night coming up. So maybe
There's
I'll
one here Friday night.
That's it. What else? Okay, I'm going to show you a couple little things here. I've posted a lot of things about production and just weird stuff. We'll go over as time goes by. But I wanted to hip you to one thing. Where is it? Oh, so I'm going to talk to you about this Kolb thing, which I found really fascinating. And so what I did was, when I took the Kolb in Emory, and this seminar cost $5 grand, you know, for the week, just to attend, and plus the room and board. So it was a $7 grand turnaround, and the president paid for it. And so I felt obliged to, you know, wake up and go. And I really loved it. It was a truly fascinating experience. It was a transformational experience. And this was one of the things that did it. And so I was so excited about it that when I got back after that first week in August, I wrote a paper on every day, you know, the 5 days, because it was executive management, it was Kolb, it was millennials, it was these big topics, and it was just fascinating to me. So I wrote this, and it's just out of sheer kind of enthusiasm for it. It's too long to read, as like everything else I write. But there it is. And so if you want to see how it applies, after you take it and understand it, don't read it yet, but after you take it and understand it, see how I thought of it. It's a letter to myself. That's essentially what it is. And I'm trying to analyze my own way of working in terms of that particular structure. And that's what you might find useful. So you want to just jump into that? Yeah. Okay. So what I want you to do, it's just not a trick. This is just a method. I want you to take these books, and you see, I don't want you to go through it. I don't want you to read it. I want you to take this out of it, and then close the book like that. And then I'm going to show you what's happening next. I'll pass this back there, Maddie. Here we go, Braden. I've got 40 of these, and I think there's only about 30 of you. This is not a test. This is something that's just a very interesting, it's kind of like an informed horoscope almost. It's really kind of interesting. Okay, so just pull the thing out and put it right in front of you. Okay, now what you have here, you got extras? Just pass them down if you got them. Those are 25 bucks a piece, so and these other people may show up. Okay, so you have 12 sentences. The first half of the sentence, and you have 4 possible answers. I want you to put a 4 next to the thing that describes. Here, first of all, let me just show you this. Where's this thing? Okay, check this out. I want you, before you take it, I want you to reflect on something that you recently learned. Anything, right? In this context, what did you learn? Where did you learn? How did you go about it? And then these are some 5 possible ways. You'll see this right in front of the cold book. And then, were you on your own or with others, and did it seem difficult or easy? So you just have this image in your mind of something that you've learned recently, and you put it through that little process of thinking. And then I want you to answer this question, answer these questions really quickly, and write 4 next to the sentence ending that best describes how you learn, right? And then 1 next to the one that's the least way that you learn, right? Go. What does it mean, the checks? Or?
Oh, you just names you were calling off, right? That
Does
they're
it have
here.
to be like 1 through 4, like as in there has to be a 1, 2, 3, and a 4? Can they just be like all ones?
It's forced
No.
choice. You have to rank them.
You have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, so these people,
No, they're here.
so,
The check marks are here, but this was how I got to 48.
oh, okay. Well, these people are here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I see. Can I have this?
Yep.
Okay. Did you take this?
Mm-hmm.
Were you satisfied with the results?
Yeah, I brought back all my grad school days.
can tell them that then. Okay, are you done? Once you get finished, flip to the next page and follow the directions at the top of the page. So each little colored blot has a range of 12 to 48, and the total number, after you add up all those shapes, you know that you have 4 different totals, that should total 120. Just double check your math and fill in the little spaces where they indicate. So you're going to have a score for AC, AE, CE, and RO. And guess what? Now we're going to figure out what those mean. Okay, everybody got it? Still working? Take your time. Yeah, I heard that about this class. After you get your totals, you can go to page 7 in your book, your workbook here, and you'll see they've asked you to write down the number of the AC, number of the CE, and they want you to subtract the CE from the AC. Anyway, once you check that out and do that little math. So that's page 7. I just think this thing is so fascinating. Page 7. There's just two little calculations there right in the middle of the page. Say
Yeah.
again?
It's all four is supposed to add up to 120.
Yeah. All four of your scores add up to 120, so double check that, otherwise your results will be skewed. Anybody have any trouble? Now, the grid on page 7 is just an example. So you're supposed to mark your coordinates on page 8. And also, you would mark your coordinates on page 3. So what we do is go to page 3 first after you get your independent numbers for each one of your 4 categories. So you got your totals for each one of your categories. You go to page 3 and you put those dots on that axis, depending on whether it's CE or RO or AC or whatever. So you'll have 4 dots on that axis. And then you're going to connect those dots in a kite shape. Okay? It is a taste of basic math skills. Adding 2-digit numbers. Next week, we're going to get to division and multiplication. Go to page 3 and plot your coordinates on that axis and draw and connect them with a, you'll get kind of a kite shape or some kind of shape just by connecting the 4 dots. It may be odd, whatever. If you want to see examples, after you plot your coordinates and you get your kite shape, you can look on page 6 and see which one you're closest to. And that'll tell you what style that you favor. So if one of your kite shapes fits into one of those shapes, that's you. So there's 4 different categories. There's one for each style, and then there's one that's kind of a balanced style down at the bottom. Where are you?
Page 7.
So what you want to do is to take these numbers right here. Go to page 3. Just do this first, because it's amazing. Just get another way. And take those numbers and put them on the spot where they are. So you have a,
Oh my God,
what's
some
that? For AC, you have a
psychologist out there near
19.
me.
So the AC, and just say the 19.
Okay.
Wherever it is, put it in there.
Okay.
AC 19. Oh, you're right in the center. Bullseye. Okay, so now first thing you do after you get your 4 little shapes, your totals for your 4 shapes, is go to page 3, mark your coordinates, draw your kite shape. Okay, done. Okay, now you compare that kite shape with page 6, and that will tell you what style you favor in your learning as you learn stuff, as you try to understand things. Okay? Now you can also go to page 8, and you're going to plot these totals and these, the math. Right there it says AC minus CE and AE minus RO. So that's on page 8. So you want to also plot that. And you'll end up with a dot in one of those quadrants. Let's see what your kite looks like. Okay, go back to this. Page 3, go to page 3. And take those 4 numbers of each shape and plot it on that graph. And then make a kite.
And then what do? We can see what the kite.
Then you take this kite and you go over here and see what is that so over here, okay?
Oh,
So
okay, I see.
this is up here and down there, so narrow. So that's kind of like that. So look at you.
Okay.
That's how you learn. You have a fairly balanced style of learning. You do all 4 of those types of things. But you also will plot this data in this way.
Okay.
Take these numbers, this right here, and you're going to plot this over here. So this is the AC, and this is going to tell you which quadrant you fall into, because you're going to fall into one. Does everybody understand? Anybody have any problems? So you've got 4 numbers. You've done the subtraction. So now you got 2 sets of data. The first 4 numbers go on page 3. That's how you deal with that data and make your kite shape. And then you go to page 6 and it tells you what those kite shapes mean, right? And then you go to the page, 8, and you plot the subtraction. The AE minus RO and the AC minus CE, right? So that puts it on this grid. And that's going to give you one of these 4 possibilities. You're going to end up with your dot in one of the 4 grids. Okay? What are you?
I'm accommodating.
Are you really?
I am.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, me either. It's definitely me, except for I don't like to work with people usually. But
Well, it's not perfect.
yeah, but it's very close.
There's no 7 on this grid, and I have a 7.
Well, you have a 7? Let's see. Okay. So that's AC minus CE. Well, we just put it in the middle of the 8 and 9, rather than 8 and 6.
Oh, so I'm right in the middle.
Yeah, you're in the middle. That means that's a pretty balanced learning style, Bubba. I mean, you can't get any more balanced than that. So where's the other one put you?
9.
So same thing.
Yeah.
That's one balanced guy. So then, you don't even have one of these. You just you put it in the wrong one. You got to put it over here.
Oh, okay. I see.
I would rather deal with problems than deal with social
So
issues.
I'm right between accommodating and learning.
So where is the 7?
The 7
Right here?
is right in the middle.
So you're not even you're right you're right there. There's not even a box for you. Okay, so you're a pretty balanced learner. What's your kite look like?
My kite looks like a square.
Yeah. So you can see that over here, where's page kites? Go to the kites. So which one? There it is. Bam. So that's why it also worked out this way,
Right.
right? So now you're going to be reading these 4 styles because what you have all 4 of these, and this also tells you more about yourself.
Okay.
Strategies for each learning style. Okay, so everybody has their data, right? So now what you want to do is read this pamphlet. So you're going to take this home, and believe me, I sat there and just loved every word of this. I mean, you may feel differently, but for me it was just an exciting thing to read because it was so interesting. But go through it, see what you find out, and bring it back on next Monday because we're going to go through it on next Monday.
Tuesday.
Bring this back next Monday. Okay? Everybody here? Bring back your scores, your sheets, and this pamphlet. And in the meantime, I want you to read the pamphlet. And we're going to talk about, here's what the implications are. Dig this. If you're involved, if Maddie's going to hire a team of people, if she's going to select out of this crowd to have 4 people to help her, what's the best 4 people? One of each. The balanced learning approach is a balanced learning, but you want somebody who's going to have this particular strength over here and this strength over here, and that's where you enter this learning cycle. You know, you enter it as in this converging style, this diverging style, this assimilation style, this accommodating style, but you're supposedly going to go through the whole cycle when you learn something. But you can see where you're going to be deficient, right? Where you favor some things and you don't favor some others. So you can determine for yourself if you want to take some action to change that. And it will tell you how to do that or give you suggestions, right? So here's your assignment for next week. Do Roberta's career services thing because she's going to spend most of the class going through that and going through the data and trying to get some kind of information that's going to be useful to you. That's the point of this exercise. Same thing for this. And I'm very, very curious about seeing each of your papers. So when you bring them next week, after we talk about them, I want to hold them for a week. And I want to look through them and see what I can figure out for you. This. You're not going to write a paper. No.
But you also need to bring your career leader profile report with you next week, too.
Look, you know, what we're talking about in this class is getting you have 4 months left, right?
Don't.
You have 4 months, and a couple of those weeks don't even pertain, right? You're going to lose Mardi Gras, you're going to lose Easter break and all that. So your time is limited. And so for the projects that you want to develop, you want to print out a calendar or use a calendar online, and like I said in entrepreneurship, create some goals to date. Because if you map out, you've only got a certain number of weeks left. You've got what, 15 weeks? 14 weeks? 14 weeks and it's over, right? So let's make the best of it. And you've got now, while you're on this campus, while you still are on this campus, you have access to some pretty sophisticated people who will sit there and talk to you forever. You know that. Everybody's going to talk to you and work with you until one of you get hungry and then you go get something to eat. But we're going to help you get what you need to be successful when you leave here, right? And I'm in correspondence with a lot of the students that have graduated from the program. I mean, it's a great thing. I just talked to Shannon today, and y'all remember Shannon Buffoni? She just got a gig being office manager for a large ticketing agency in Philadelphia. And she's just as happy as she can be because she was working as a receptionist for an insurance company, which is a little like being in the ninth ring of hell. But, you know, so now she's got her gig, and she couldn't be happier. And I don't want it to take you guys 2 years for that to happen. And so for those of you who are going to be independent, or want to start an independent company or be an independent artist, we're going to start now. We're going to help you now produce media, produce stuff that you need to go forward. You need a website. If you don't have it, we're going to help you with that. All the tools, you need to have all the tools in your hand when you leave here, right? So that's the plan. That's where we're going with this. All right, we'll see you next month.
Now, can I ask a quick question? Has everybody had resume writing already? Let me rephrase it. Who hasn't had resume writing? Because one of the things I noticed in hearing all of you, this class seems to have more interest, at least from the little bit you said, in going out into the job market as opposed to starting your own businesses. I'm not saying it's all of you, but I heard that more than we did with last year's class. So we need your resumes in our hands because we are taking them places. If you haven't had resume writing, either come to the Career Center or identify yourselves and we'll come and do a workshop just for you guys.
I hire people, I see resumes all the time, and I can tell you, I'm trying to hire somebody now. I get resumes with misspelled words on them. I am not hiring that person. I'm not even going to talk to that person or think twice about that person. So you need to get your resume together because that is basic, everyday stuff. We want you to have a perfect resume, right? So we're going to be working on that.
For type of